Alrighty, everybody, you know how this works. It's very simple. The most viewed, subscribed to, clicked on Disability Attorney in America. We are going to do 5-minute consultations. Here's the deal. You call the phone, 407-279-1754. Oh, I just missed a call from my buddy. We just missed a call from my buddy. All right, we'll continue, but here's the bottom line. All right, so here's how it works. All right. What do you need to know? No story mode when you call in. Don't stack your questions. Be straight to the point. Have your legal question ready. Use a fake name when you call in. Be a cool person. Represent your disability. You know what I mean? All right. With that said, I'm going to type the phone number in. It looks like Coach already got in there. Let me put it in there one more time. 407-279-1754. You call it, and guess what will happen? What will happen is I will likely pick it up so long as I'm not already on the phone. We have the first call right here. Here we go. Phone is on, speaker is on, and volume is all the way up. Remember to mute the phone, or sorry, remember to mute the computer on your end with the video, and we will get rolling. Excellent, excellent. How are you doing?
Good.
Very good. Use a fake name throughout this process. Remember to mute the sound from the video on your end. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Okay, I got a letter from Social Security. I was approved in January, and it's requesting documents that I've already given them, and it said that they are going to send it to DDS, and I'm confused and a little worried, even though the 1-800 number told me today that it was just a financial part, but I don't really understand because I've only met like 4 or 5 of my prior work periods, so I don't know why.
When were you found disabled again?
In December. I got the letter in January.
Okay, so December of 2024 or 2023?
This year.
So 2024. So basically, you've been on disability benefits for around half a year. You just got an update request where they're reviewing you. You're wondering what the hell, it's only been 6 months. Okay, gotcha. What questions are they asking in that review?
Well, they it said that they counted the following as trial work months, and they gave 6 months, and I don't have the same trial work months as they do. So when I talk to them for my phone appointment, I'll go over that with them. But it said that they were forwarding this to the DDS, and I'm confused because, like I said, I just got my back pay like 3 months ago. So I'm confused why I'm getting all these letters. Like I got one letter June 23rd, I got one letter today saying I have to fill out the dates that were holiday and vacation, and I got a lot of accommodations, so I need to include those as well. I got like extra break, food if I needed it. My supervisor did a lot of the extra work, and I would like watch the computers and answer the phone more, the cameras at work. And I need to include that, but I'm just not sure why I keep getting all these letters when I've already given them all my paychecks and all the information. The judge was aware I was working part-time.
When you calculate your, 9-month trial work period, are you using the triggering amount or the total, amount that you're not allowed to go over being SGA?
I did both. I put them on a Excel worksheet.
Yeah.
And I did figure at least 4, maybe 6. They figured 6, but their months are different than mine.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of spinning right now. I'm sorry.
So, you use the triggering amount, which is the $1,160 in 2025. So did you earn every month over $1,160?
Not every month, no. Just out of the last 3 years, I've reached probably 6 trial work periods.
Okay.
If
So,
that makes sense.
okay. Were you working before you were found disabled?
They gave me back pay all the way to 2018, and I started working in 2020 because they hired me for 8 hours a week, and I had accommodations, and I was trying to work more, but I couldn't.
Mhm.
and my doctors told me not to work, so I'm no longer working. But I had like some weeks where I worked more than others. It wasn't like the same every week, but I was actually hired for 8 hours a week.
Okay. So what you're worried about is they're doing a review to see if you were really disabled to begin with.
Or yeah, like, and I gave them the paychecks because the judge knew I was working. So I don't know.
What's your current age?
55.
All right, so you were found disabled probably at the 55 plus grid out option with a little bit of wiggle room math applied. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they might be doing a CDR on you to see if you're really disabled under their rules and regulations because, I mean, what type of job are you doing nowadays?
Well, the job that I worked since I was approved was answering a receptionist. So I was answering the phone and like watching, letting people in the gate for a retirement community. So answering phone, watching the cameras.
What were the main impairments presented?
Autoimmune, I can't even think of it, but a lot. Cervical spine. I have CPAP. I have oxygen. I have different things. So I think it's a combination of like all of them together. That is what they put on the award letter. It wasn't just one thing.
So you got a vocational allowance. Now, I mean, how long were the days, the hours, where you were working, at this job? Like what's an average hour? What's a long day?
4 hours, and they most of the time 4 hours. Some were 6. Some they tried to force me to work like 8 to see if I could do it with the accommodations, but 90% of it was 4 or 6 hours.
All right, so you know what's going on. They probably had a CDI investigator watch it work, interact with you, meet you, stuff like that. Potentially take some videos to see if you truly were disabled. That's probably what they did.
Okay.
So what that means is they write up an ROI because usually they don't bug you in the first 12 months of receiving benefits. But if they feel like there's a potential of fraud or this or that, yada yada. So what it comes down to is if you claimed, that you couldn't do this and couldn't do that, and then they go into the office and they have somebody. I mean, so let me ask you this: were there windows to the outside where there's a parking area where somebody could potentially put a camera on you for the amount of time that you were basically in there?
Yes.
All right, so that's probably what happened in this situation. They probably had an OIG investigator watch you while you were working for that time and take video of you and create an ROI report. So, okay, so this review that they're doing, what types of questions are they asking you now?
Well, I didn't get a review yet. So far as the letter that came today
Mhm.
was asking me, well, I guess that is a review. My apologies. I have to fill out this form within 15 days and give them a copy of all the checks and answer questions about if I was getting working fewer hours with extra help. I have to fill all of that out. But I had already filled all of this out in the past.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
So you're wondering why they're taking interest again?
yeah.
They're probably doing this because they're checking to see if you're truly disabled under the rules and regulations, and they're on a bit of a hunt for fraud right now, as you've probably noticed. So, bottom line is, they're probably looking at statements that you made, you know what I mean, on the record when applying for disability benefits, and then as a result of that, they're comparing it against statements that they have on record. So, that's usually where they get people is you made this statement, yet you can do this. You made this statement, yet you can do this. And you say that you were, while you did the hearing with the judge, working, correct?
Yes, he knew I was working.
Okay.
And he wrote in the letter, under SGA, and that he verified it in my award letter.
Yeah.
That's why I'm confused, because I have good and bad days. Like today I went to the doctor and I barely made it to the doctor, but every day is different. It doesn't mean I'm not telling the truth.
Well, yeah, but remember, if you have consistent work, what happens is they use that as like, she's able to consistently do this job. Well, so how long have you been working at this job now? Like consistently, not on and off?
Well, I haven't worked since April 28th, but I did work a year and a half there.
Okay.
But I had FMLA, I had shorter shifts, I had extra help, I had a lot of caffeine. They have food and coffee at work, and my doctors were like, we don't want you to do that anymore. It's hurting you.
So those are your arguments that you're going to use to support essentially that you were able to do this job under all those requirements, that would not normally be allowed for a Dictionary of Occupational Titles job, which is the book they use for that. So, all right. All right. So bottom line is it could be a couple of things. A, it's just a quick little review. B, they're just getting a status update, in this quick little review. Or it could be like an OIG investigation where they're doing an ROI report, in which case, to be very fair, they probably put a camera on you and watch you and stuff like that, and they do that. That's what their gig is. That's how they do it, to go ahead and show capacity by this individual. And remember, by the time this thing gets to the point where they're talking to you, it's usually a couple of months, prior that they did the investigation, wrapped up their ROI report, got all their documents together, and now are beginning the process of going forward and making some choices on this thing. In which case, they contact you. So, I guess the big thing that you want to do is find out, from the SSA whether or not there's an ROI on file.
Okay. I do have an appointment Monday morning.
Yeah.
July 7th. So I can ask them, do I have an ROI file? And I didn't know they were allowed to tell me, or
sometimes they tell people. Technically, they're supposed to not tell you whether or not you do, but sometimes they do tell you if you have one on file. The attorney that potentially you could hire or not hire or whatever, they have to tell the attorney, but they are allowed to hide an ROI from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting different answers from different people, but so if I hire you for the 1 hour, whatever it's called.
Oh, the 1 hour consultation. Yeah. So here's the thing. Do your thing on Monday. Remember, ask a lot of questions. Don't give out any incriminating statements. Ask a lot of questions, get a lot of details, and then we'll rock and roll from there if you need it. If you don't need it, then it's okay. But you trust me, you'll get a feeling after that meeting, and you'll kind of know which direction they're leaning from it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm getting different answers from the 1-800 number and the local office, and they might have done something in March, and even though it's June, they could have very easily had people come in. I mean, I don't want to think that way, but like I said, I've offered the check before. They kept telling me, wait till we mail you a letter, wait till we contact you, and I was like, here are my checks, here's my information. I wanted to be, I want everyone to have all the information and not do anything wrong, and I keep getting letters, so it's just upsetting. Like,
well, they're not gonna go at your speed. They're gonna go at their speed,
Right, I understand, but I thought because I gave them the information, they wouldn't keep requesting it. So that's what making me think, like you said, maybe there is an ROI or something, but I don't know.
Well, you're going to know on Monday based on which way it's leaning. So, I mean, what I would say is this, find out and then check in from there as to what's going on and, take the next step. But that's what I would say. I would find out which way it's going and then, see how it feels. If it feels like everything's okay, cool. If it's not, then, you know what's going on.
I did have someone come in to get records and they said it was for another coworker.
Okay.
And it felt really weird. And my HR guy said, no, it wasn't you. No, it wasn't you. Are they not allowed to tell me if someone did come in and say, hey, we want, information?
They usually go and investigate people that interact with you that are part of the same business, or people that interact with you that basically go in and use your services. So, like if you went to a restaurant often, they'll go interview the restaurant people. If you have bosses or coworkers or whatever that they can get, a moment to ask them questions, they'll go ask them questions because they're building their third party witness statements to see what your capacity is.
Right. And my supervisor was aware that I mean, when I filled out the application, I'm like, I'm disabled. I have this, I have that, I have FMLA. Like they knew from day one.
Hey, so I've got to actually go to the next caller because we're on for way too long, but I will catch you later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ricky. I have a quick question about, we have a lawyer for my mother's disability case.
Yep.
The only thing is that she's not a big box firm. It's just that it feels like she's from a big box firm in terms of we don't really have a lot of communication with her. Fortunately, for example, we just finished the reconsideration. We're about to, we were denied reconsideration. So now we had her do the, when you do the ALJ thing, we got some documents that we're supposed to send over. My only thing is that communication with her is not the best. I could be completely wrong in all the things that she's doing behind the scenes that we just don't know about. It's just getting any sort of communication with her is very difficult. The short question is basically, how difficult is it to fire a lawyer and get someone else? Or is it mostly like we're kind of just stuck in this situation? Fortunately for us, we have all of your videos, which I cannot thank you enough for all the information that you and other people have done in this field. So
thank you.
Form functionality forms have been wonderful.
Excellent.
We've been able to do a good job because of these videos. So I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. So I mean, like, here's the thing, like, so okay, so the law firms like mine are picky. So like when it comes to claimants that are already represented, we only take on claimants that basically don't have another attorney that's asking for a fee. So like they have to withdraw for rep and fees. But the main thing is this. One of the big things you kind of want to check into is essentially, on this whole spectrum, ask her, okay, what are the strengths of the claim? What type of approval do you think we can get with this? What is the likelihood of, this claim succeeding at reconsideration or at an ALJ hearing level or whatever? And so what you're doing is you're basically pump priming her for, have you been on the phone with her and asked her questions about who, what, when, and where?
Here's the thing. We've tried to make an appointment with her for about a month or two now, and we haven't been able to get back to her. So right now we're waiting. I think for the written mail that we got, that we have about a month and a half after reconsideration to not a test, but to resubmit for the ALJ hearing or something like that. I can't remember exactly the wordage that we received. Basically, we haven't been able to get in contact with her.
Okay.
She just got back from vacation, so we're trying to get a hold of her. So. Yes, all those questions we've been trying to ask right now. Yes.
So all right. So the question you can ask her, that's a good one, is what is the best evidence that we have for each of the top 5 most severe impairments, and see what she says. You know what I mean? Because where I like to start with claimants is, so the first question I like to ask people is, all right, what are your top 5 impairments? Blah, 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 blah. All right, when did each begin? When did each become severe? Blah, 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 blah. Right, okay, cool. Awesome. Got it.
I remember you said that in another video. And by the way, I've made notes for all those questions. I might, go on. I didn't want me to interrupt you.
Yeah, no. So then I like to get into, okay, 2 symptoms / signs per each impairment. Then I like to get into like, basically like, then I like to get into the medications, then, symptoms, that come from the medication, side effects. And I like to get into, okay, where'd you work? What'd you do? Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Okay, got it. Yada, yada, yada. Then after that, I like to get into, usually, okay, what is the best evidence that you have for each impairment? And that's usually where people putter out. They just kind of poop themselves. I don't know what the deal is, but like so like if I said to you, okay, what are the top 2 impairments of this person?
So you're asking me, so for the top 2 impairments, the 3 strokes, she can't drive. The doctor even told her to not be driving anymore. I'm her, it's for my mother. Pretty much her chauffeur for all the doctor's appointments. Another one is the really bad arthritis. Now, the only thing with the arthritis is that she's been doing physical therapy just about every appointment. We've also taken your advice, too, when it was really bad that we took her to the emergency room just to build our, documentation and everything with her. Then I even told her, please, she's in the generation where if you're in a lot of pain, you just suck it up and just go through it. So we've been programming her to, if you're in a lot of pain, and even though I have work tomorrow, we'll go to the emergency room,
Yeah.
So we're doing that type of stuff for her case, just to build it up. But the arthritis with the back pain is probably the biggest one.
Okay. So arthritis with the back pain, can you tell me specifically what exactly is the most amazing medical evidence that you have for that? Like the best MRI, the best, what do you have?
It was I think it was the MRIs that showed that she has arthritis in shoulder, hips, knees, and in the lower back. Pretty much what our, the orthopedic doctor was saying is that there's not a whole lot that we could do left for her except for surgery. So I guess unless we go down that route, and actually if we don't do the surgery, would that be a negative against us?
I mean, that depends because, if she's healed, she's no longer severe, All right, so
I might just, I genuinely appreciate your answering this phone call, by the way.
Yeah.
I might end up just doing the hour consultation with this. So this might be more appropriate for that type of thing.
So what I would say is this: get all the stuff together, all the documentation. Let me take a look and see what's going on, because what some people do in this situation is they go, here's everything. Now look, if it's thousands and thousands of pages, then I have to take an hour to learn the thing and then do an hour to tell you what you need to do. But if it's not thousands and thousands of pages, then usually I can in 1 hour figure out what's good, what's not good, and then basically from there go ahead and do what I can to kind of get everything rolling. So what I would say is this: get it all together. Let me kind of review it, understand it, see what's going on, and then get back to you. But look, the main thing is you have to build a timeline showing severity. So a lot of people like to think of, okay, I'm disabled because I suck at something. That's not reality. The reality is there's a timeline of great evidence that kind of builds over time on itself to self-prove itself. So if I said to you, what's her top impairment? You'll say this. And then I'll say to you, okay, what 2 specialists have spoken on this impairment over the past 3 years? What would you say?
The neurologists were saying the cerebellum damage with her, that she has basically hand-eye coordination, where she falls a lot. That was the biggest one. And the arthritis with the back pain and the knees as well as the shoulders as well.
Okay.
And now it would be that, but I probably need to do more research on it, just like as you said, to kind of I need to actually ask her.
Sure.
For this type of stuff, yeah. And should we get double, we've been going to the same neurologist and orthopedic doctor for the last, I think since the pandemic, 2020.
Okay.
So would it be advantageous for us to go for a different neurologist, a different orthopedic doctor?
Well, I mean, what you want to do is get an RFC letter from one,
For a second.
go for a little bit, and then get another RFC from somebody else. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Sir, I genuinely appreciate all you taking the time for this.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely, good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, okay?
You too now. Happy 4th.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. How can I help you?
Hello.
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead. It's odd. All right, I'll just wait for the next caller. Next caller. Here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Debbie, and I have a question that's a little bit different, probably from most. So I am currently gainfully employed, but I have fibromyalgia and the chest, and it's just
So
getting worse over time.
the phone cut out
I
there.
also-
Yeah, what was it? It was fibromyalgia and what?
The chest disease, it's very rare.
Okay.
It's a type of vasculitis, I guess, and most vasculitises attack a certain spot, whereas the chest can go everywhere.
Sure.
So they seem to be getting worse, but when it first started happening, didn't know what was going on. So through my work, I had a medical accommodation while the doctors were trying to figure out what it was, which was a work from home accommodation, 2 to 3 days a week. And that started in February of 2022. Now we have a new administration, and the new administration wanted to, my accommodation was renewed yearly, and it was just going to end as of July 3rd today. And so when I turned in my renewal forms for my doctor again, they wanted to do a WebEx, and which is something we hadn't done in the past. And so I did the WebEx, but at the end of the WebEx, the person that was interviewing me said, well, I want to let you know right now that we're not renewing anybody's medical accommodations because
Ooh, spicy.
Because he wants, not the governor, but I do work for the state, but our department manager does not want, he wants an in-office, he doesn't want anybody working from home anymore, just everybody in the office so that we can all collaborate better or something like that was the reason. And she just told me that to date, that everybody had been denied and that's how it was going to be. So I had concerns because I know that when I have to push myself to do more, just regular people stuff, get up and go to work, which it sounds weird, but when I have to do it 5 days a week and I can't just take time and give my body more time to just go easy, it causes symptoms and more problems for me. And I know that as soon as next week starts and we're in the 5 day, because there's something called neurobichette, so it can affect my brain, and then I can't think straight, and then I'm not doing my job right, and then I'm making mistakes, and then the emails come, and and there's also other things that happen that I'm not going to be able to manage being in the office 5 days a week. And then she said, well, we could give you an accommodation where you could come in anywhere from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. so that way you wouldn't be in trouble for being late. But we're not going to allow you to have your
At
home
home.
accommodation anymore.
Yeah. Okay. What usually happens in these situations is that you'll get pushed, you'll get injured on the job. It turns into workers' comp and basically, SSDI. So let me ask you this. If you work for the state, how close are you to the pension?
So I'm fully vested, which is after 5 years, but I've been with the state for 11 years.
Okay. So, keeping in mind, they're going to push you to the point where you're either going to be relevant to their process or you're not. You're going to claim, I deserve to have this, this, and this. You're going to end up filing a federal claim, requesting review that you be allowed to have certain accommodations. What usually happens is they give you some, but not all. What are some that you have to have versus some that there's wiggle room on?
My accommodation says work from home 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Not to be any issues. But I've only ever really worked from home 2 days a week. I've always tried to do better than the 3 days, and I've been able to manage that way.
Okay. That's fair.
And I have the whole setup here at home, and I've never had any performance issues the whole time. There's never been any, it's just because we have a new guy that wants to do it a new way. And I thought about, what if I asked for a trial, to get some metrics. Let's try this for 60 days.
Sure.
Let's, put down some parameters and see what happens. I mean, is that something I could ask or would be reasonable, or am I just going to have to literally just crash and burn?
Well, I mean, you can ask for a trial. They probably won't give it to you, but at the end of the day, you can always try. So all right, you have two options realistically. I'm assuming you're in the state of Florida.
No, Midwestern.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I mean, all right. So could go many ways. All right. So my punt to you with this situation is, okay, now you like working for the government, right?
I like being gainfully employed.
Cool. Awesome. Then that makes
wanna
this, then this becomes a very easy situation. There are jobs that will hire you to work from home. The benefits will not be as good, but the pay will probably be equivalent. Are you willing to work for somebody else that's in the private industry, not government, going forward?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm best. If I can make this money, not have to good.
Okay, so you would be willing to potentially find some alternative to what you're currently doing?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what your job tomorrow is? Your job tomorrow is to go ahead and basically find alternative jobs that are work from home to apply for, and then get your paperwork together to make it a reality. Okay, so let's talk about approaching them. You want a smooth transition into a different future job, but they're probably going to burn you. So you have to weigh and balance how the burn is going to happen, because you're either going to end up as a workers' comp, or you're going to end up as an LTD and then slide into SSDI, or you're going to end up as somebody who slides into long-term disability insurance. Like, you can buy short-term disability insurance, and they probably have long-term disability insurance already. So short-term disability insurance is disability insurance for basically whatchamacallit, the first 6 months ish area, and then after the 6 months you go on LTD, and then basically
I do have personally. I have through AFLAC a short-term disability plan that I've had for several years. I just pay for it, not that I use it, but I have one.
So I mean, so that opens up additional options to you, because now, if something happens and you need short-term disability insurance, your first 6 months you're covered. You go out on leave with basically, short-term disability insurance. Now, look, I mean, if they're going to push you at work, they may push you into a situation where you functionally lose the ability to go ahead and, do the job. What do you fear is what will happen with their structural approach to having you work that will not work well with your current impairments?
I think, it sounds ridiculous to say, but just the the schedule. I'm always in pain anyway. I have pain all the time, but having to keep a regular person's schedule, get up, walk the dog, go to work, and be on time. And normally I have to be in the office around 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And I work till 4 p.m. It's just it's hard, like the way that I've been doing it for the last 3 years, that
makes things flare less is I will work Monday, Tuesday, work from home in the office, work from home Wednesday, work back in the office Thursday, and work from home Friday, and then I'm off Saturday, Sunday, which gives me energy to come back in the office Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I just repeat the process.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid of, what's going to happen when I have to change that schedule. It's been very successful, and I'm clearly I would do it, but I feel like don't they have to prove? Don't they have to tell me that it's causing a hardship or something like that because of the all this time that's gone by, all these 3.5 years that I've been doing this, and it's just like, well, we just want this collaboration in the office now, so that there's never been a problem with the work. There's never been any, I've never been in trouble for anything. I've been there for 11 years, so like, what do I try the hybrid thing? Do I try this as best I can, or do I really just try to find another job?
I don't know what the new rules and regs are. They're going to be put in place by this big, beautiful bill. I have to review it. I didn't think it was going to pass. So I'm coming at this from the perspective of like, it just passed today. So I don't know. I have to go read them and see what, because you're asking me from a vocational standpoint is, how much can they cut you off from the world that you were used to? And
Right.
you're arguing, I want these accommodations. I've had these accommodations. Why can't I continue to have these accommodations? They're arguing from the perspective of, we want, and Trump has always been pushing this to get everybody back to work.
And that's really what it is. Because like it's a heavily Republican that I'm from, and I'm a Republican too. But
Sure.
I think to some degree, many people are taking advantage of the work from home accommodation that didn't really need it, didn't have a medical issue that was a clear disability, like the Duchenne, multiple sclerosis, and things like that. And now everybody's going to have to suffer. Is what it feels like.
But that's how it goes. I mean, they just caught $14.6 billion in Medicare fraud. I mean, they had people nonstop, well, not nonstop, but damn near close to it, constantly, going out and being in fake car accidents and then going to local clinics to get treatment that were all part of the scam. So, I mean, I get it, you know what I mean? But this is what happens when there's uncontrolled fraud, which to some degree, I think we can agree there was uncontrolled fraud,
Well, I was able to get a letter from my physician.
Okay.
So I guess I can turn that in and basically, says, yes, this is what's best for her. Not that it's going to help, but I'm going to submit that, try to appeal.
Sure. So I tell you what, we got a bunch of people calling in. We're only supposed to do about 5-minute sessions. We're at 13 minutes. Let me catch you later, but we had a good chat there, but you have a wonderful, wonderful night.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, I pressed, is it a, hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yes. I get disability and I have a payee and they're moving out of state. So I have my own place now. And I was calling to see what do I have to tell Social Security in order for me to get my own payee? Because they're asking for a letter from my psychiatrist, and I just want to know, what does that letter need to say?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I gotcha. It needs to say that you are mentally competent to handle your own finances. You can do basic math. You can do basic accounting, stuff like that. And then they'll usually call you into the office to do an assessment and see, essentially what your capacity is.
Okay. Because I do have a mental problem, so...
Well, I mean, are you able to do basic math? Are you able to complete, functional assessments of your finances? Like, can you do accounting?
What entails in counting? What entails in counting? Like paying bills and stuff?
Yeah, like run an Excel sheet, run a checkbook.
never ran a checkbook, but never ran Excel, but I've been paying my bills and
Okay.
things like that.
Well, if you were audited by the federal government, would you be able to explain, your accounting?
You know how to keep track of my money?
Well, yeah, I mean, all right. So let me ask you this. Like, if I said to you, what's 15 plus 12, what would you say?
15 plus 12 is 27.
Okay, so what is at the end of the day, do you know how to write a check?
I've never wrote a check because I've never had checks. But I do know how to write a check out. I've never done it before. I've never had checks.
To me, you
I've always had debit
sound
cards.
Yeah, to me you sound like you probably could do it. I mean, I would go to the doctor, get an assessment, see if they think you could do it. The SSA will probably bring you in, do an assessment check, see if they think you could do it, and then go from there. Because your whole gig here is you're just trying to get rid of the payee.
Yeah, and will that go against me if I do pass all of those steps that they're asking? Will that hurt me? And would they say, well, you're not eligible anymore?
It can. It usually, when they do this assessment, it's like, okay, is he mentally unsound? Well, he's unsound, but he is sound enough to handle his own finances. So, yes, it can hurt you because, yes, it can be used as an assessment to say he's not as bad as we thought he was.
Okay. So what should I tell the doctors? What should I tell my doctor, or what should I tell Social Security? Is they're gonna call me? I had an appointment over the phone for August 19th.
Yeah, I mean, you got to basically, you have to explain to them, so you have to bring in a letter from your doctor explaining that you have the capacity to handle your finances. That's the whole gig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Walter. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for answering my call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July, good sir. But sounds good, and catch you a little bit later and rock and roll,
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too, good sir. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Michelle, and I had a question because I recently read an article about I'm on disability, and they are starting a Medicare pilot pre-authorization in 7 states, and I'm a pain clinic patient, and some of the procedures that I get are on the list of 17 to where they're going to be doing pre-authorization. And I get those treatments regularly.
Okay.
And I'm worried that if I'm not able to get treatment, that it's going to affect my claim when I come up for review.
Okay. So anyway, you already get this treatment, correct?
Yes, I've been getting it since 2012.
And you're talking about the potential rejection of that treatment.
Yes.
And what is the treatment we're talking about?
They're going to use AI as triage, and then supposedly they're going to use a real person to make the final decision. They're basically like, one is called a sacral joint injection.
Okay.
Cassette joint injections, epidural steroid injections, And so far, those are the only ones.
So, I mean, it sounds like you already do them. You just don't like the AI part of it, correct?
I do them. I have traditional Medicare, not Medicare Advantage.
Okay.
And traditional Medicare has never done pre-authorization.
Mm-hmm.
But they said that they're starting this pilot program in 7 states where they're going to start doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's launching in well, it's launched June 27th. So like it just started,
Right.
yeah. So
That's what I'm afraid of. When I start going for those procedures, that I'm going to get whatever pushback, because Lord only knows. I mean, I don't trust AI. It's very flawed.
So I mean,
So I don't know if the triage doesn't think that I should have it, and then whoever they've hired to be the person that, the person, I mean, is the person reviewing it actually going to be a pain specialist, or is the person reviewing it going to be an OBGYN or a foot doctor, or, you know what I mean?
oh, I have no idea what they're going to provide at the medical facility when they do it, but it's going to have to be somebody to oversee it. So, it'll have to be, and I'm sure they'll start somewhere by paying it some doctor. It could be a specialist postdoctorate to review the documents, but I'm sure when they begin this, they'll probably get a specialist in there and then kick it down over time to lesser and lesser master's level individuals. But to your point of them making choices with AI, the kicker is with a lot of the studies, AI has been more accurate than the doctors. Now, are you worried that AI will be used in the actual application of it to you, or are you just worried that AI will be used in the precursor to figure out if you need it stage of it?
Correct. The second thing that you said, because I received the treatments and they work for me. Or at least they give me a little bit better quality of life in combination with my pain medication.
So I mean, are you worried AI is going to reject you, or?
Yes.
Well, I mean, look, to be fair, AI is being massively pushed in every industry because companies, frankly, the main thing that's pushing AI is not the new supercomputers, like they'll have you believe. It's not that it'll make things, fast and fun for everybody. It's because a lot of these companies out there took a really bad hit over the past 4 years. Because, if you look at the cost of living adjustment for 4 years, we had, Biden post. Yeah, yeah.
I've got that. I've lived with that. It's nowhere close to what actually is what I pay and
right.
all of those things.
But like the kicker here is that basically, if you look at Biden's 4 years, his 4 years of cost of living adjustment are equivalent to 13 years prior of essentially 3 other presidents in the amount of,
Yeah, I caught that video.
Yeah, so
Caught that video.
so the bottom line with this whole thing is like, at the end of the day, these companies can't afford going forward with the way the dollar is, all the same employees that they were using originally. So they're really quickly going into AI because they can't afford the same payroll that they've been doing all along. So that's where they're coming from with that whole situation. So I guess what I would say is this.
The problem is
Yeah.
the negative side of that and it affecting healthcare for people that already need that healthcare.
I don't think
I
don't think you're going to stop utilizing it. Because remember, they don't want to destabilize you. That's a major part of medical treatment is destabilization can really screw something up. But I think what is the underlying fear is you're fearful of how AI is going to change the treatment for you in the future, even with the stuff you already have. So what I would say is this, I mean, it's a pilot program. They're ready to utilize it. They're going to see if it works, yada, yada. You can submit complaints, you can submit demands, whatever. But, at the end of the day, remember, it's going this direction, and it's going that direction because financially, the companies can't afford the payroll they used to. They want to have more consistent rulings, and that's why they're using a machine. They can blame it on the machine to give it to you or not give it to you. But if you've been on these and you've tested these and you know these and these work for you, they'll very likely keep you rolling with them, because if they get you off of them and destabilize you, that can create a much larger problem. And then you could make some really negative sound waves for, their AI programs that they're trying to push.
Yeah, I've just been on the receiving end of the AI authorization through the Medicare Advantage network.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I had to switch back to traditional Medicare.
Sure.
Because they didn't have that, and now they do.
Sure.
And so I've been denied care with that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Even though I needed it, and many of my doctors stated that I needed it, I didn't receive it because of the red tape of fighting through it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean,
And
this
then
is... Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And how that's going to affect, if it is denied, and that's my medical evidence for my reviews.
Right. I get it. But here's the thing. We're supposed to keep these to 5 minutes, but there's no simple answer to this. I have to see what's in the big, beautiful bill that just passed, because they may have stuff that pushes this AI and makes it more prominent in medical treatment. They've been releasing study after study showing like AI is kicking doctors' butts when it comes to, them being right versus the AI being right. So that's just one of those gigs where I've really got to go ahead and, figure out what they're doing and kind of go from there, because no matter what happens, AI is going to have a big splash in the medical field, because they're all looking to save money and keep tapping Medicare.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Bye-bye. I want to do a real quick shout out to Danielle V. Stevenson, member for 11 months. Absolutely amazing. Super big appreciation. Also, Diana for the $2 donation, which is really, really cool. Also, Marla Knapp with the welcome to appreciation. That's absolutely amazing. The phone is hyper ringing. We're going to take another call real quick. Oh, wait, I hit the wrong button. Whoever that was, just call me back. I'm sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. I hit the red button. It is late. I am a little bit sweaty. It is 12:40 a.m. Here we go. Boop. There we go. Speaker is on. Hi, remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hit the red button. It is late.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and mute it on that. Go ahead and mute the... Okay, never mind. Let's see if we can get another person to call in. Phone's been ringing nonstop. Let's see what we can do here. Perfect. All right. Make sure you mute the computer on your end and use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead. Okay. I don't know if that person is aware of how this works. That's okay. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and take somebody else for the moment, because I don't think they realize what they're doing. Let's see if we can get another person calling in real quick. Let's see what we can do. Hold on. It's coming. I can feel it. It's coming. Is it coming? It's not coming. Let's see if we can get somebody to come on in here. Let's see what we got. All right, it's the same person. Let's see if we can get this person. Hi, remember to go ahead and mute the computer on your end. And what is your legal question? Hi. Go ahead and remember, don't use your real name. What is your legal question?
Hi, yes. I talked to you about a year ago about where I filed back in 2006, and I got approved, and then I even had to fill out information to send to Raleigh, my bank information. I went to their doctor, but I never received a check, but I was told how much. Well, then, I kept trying to call. This went over 2 years. I reapplied back in 2016, and I denied. And I called back, asked them how do I go about, like going against it or whatever, refiling or But anyway, since I talked to you, I tried to call your office with this number like you told me to, with the 5 top reasons, but I could never get a hold of you. And since that year, I've got to where, my husband's retired. He is pretty much 9% taking care of me and my granddaughter.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do.
It's a little tough to hear you. It sounds like you got maybe denied the first time, maybe approved, and then they never sent you a check, and then you basically got denied a second time, and now your husband's retired and taking care of you. So what is the legal question?
Well, it's just frustrating because I got approved in 2006, but I never got any money for that.
Oh, the phone's cutting in and out. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. With all this identity stuff going on, I'm wondering if somebody else could get that money. But I never heard nothing after I gave Raleigh that information where to send the money. I've not changed banks since that either. I've had the same bank since 2000. But I applied again at 2016, got denied. And then, since I talked to you a year ago about this, my condition got worse. My husband retired at 62, and I've got to where I can't do that much to help and take care of, myself, or he's having to do the cooking, the cleaning. I just can't do it anymore. So I go to my doctor. It's got really bad. A knot popped up on the side of my leg. I've been telling him for years how worse I'm getting.
So real quick, but what is the legal question though? Like, just hit me with the legal question.
Okay,
Yeah.
how do I go about, I got sent, he sent me to a neurosurgeon again. Well, he ordered me MRI. Well, I got recently put on Medicaid. Well, Medicaid denied the MRI when I said I want more evidence. Why? They connected me to something called FF something, and they told me why. Because he didn't do any kind of physical therapy. He didn't do anything to help me for 9 years. It's, he had me going through all these MRIs, stand-up CDs, 2 surgeons. Nothing else was done for me after 2016. So if I apply for disability again, say right now, and I got an appointment in August to see the same neurosurgeon who I talked to, he was hoping he'd hear from me this soon. I'm like, what do you mean? You deny me surgery. He's like, well, I was buying you time, saying like he was going to do it or talk to me about it. But I got denied the MRI because my family doctor did nothing in that 9 years to help me, get any kind of therapy, anything to get through this. I just had to deal with it to the point I couldn't deal with it. And I ended up in his office in a wheelchair. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Real quick, what is the legal question though? You don't have to give me the background. You can just tell me the legal question. Yeah.
If I filed, what would be my chances?
Oh, God, I don't. I'd have to look at your medical record. I'd have to see what the doctors were saying, what the timeline was, what's going on. I mean, what's your current age?
I'll be 55 Sunday.
Are you on retirement benefits right now?
No, my husband's retired. He retired 62.
Have you not worked in a while?
I haven't worked in a long time.
So over 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're an SSI only. You have to see if your husband's income / benefits / everything is over the allowable amount. And bottom line is, I mean, once you're past 65, they have old age SSI. So it increases the likelihood of getting approved. So, it's not just.
I'm only gonna be 55.
Oh, 55. Oh, okay. So in that instance, you're going to be seeking basically a grid out for the 55 plus category. as an SSI recipient or a vocational allowance. You don't sound like a listing person, like a listing level criteria. So bottom line is you'll do that and then see where it goes. I mean, I don't know your medical record. I don't know how severe you are. So I can't tell you thumbs up or thumbs down, but you're in a 55 to 60 category. What's your highest level of education completed?
Well, I got a bachelor's degree. I never could do. I got hurt really bad. This is where all this started. 2 years left on the degree, so I did the last 2 years online only, and they couldn't find me any kind of what do you call that when you go do something for credit? Anyway, I couldn't do it. Physically couldn't do it. They couldn't find me nothing, so they just skipped that and let me graduate without the trying to find something to do with the degree, because they knew what I was getting my degree in. I wasn't going to be able to physically do it, but I didn't have that much left to finish it, so I just finished it. But I haven't, had a lot of, I haven't done anything with it. I haven't been able to do anything with it. My granddaughter was born, and she was dropped off at 5 days old, and the parents left. They just left her with me, and it's just been my husband helping me take care of her, and he's going on 8, and now since his whole year, he's trying to take care of both of us. I can't, do it anymore.
Okay, I got you. All right, so this is what I would say. You can apply, you can go through it. I don't know how good of a claim it is. You can always give me a call on Monday or Tuesday for me to ask you more specific questions. I got to keep these calls to 5 minutes though, and we're at like 8 something. But I would.
So is it called SSDI?
No, you would go into SSI. You're not eligible for regular disability SSDI because you haven't worked recently enough. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call you Monday or Tuesday.
Perfect. Sounds good. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll catch you a little bit later.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, this is going to be the final caller. This is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Oh, how you doing? Good evening. Happy 4th of July to you.
Thank you, good sir.
See, I was on SSI, Social Security Disability.
Okay.
For medical condition, of course. I'm 62. They changed me over to retirement. Now, my question is, do they still consider me qualified to be disabled? Does the Social Security have in their records and consider my disability still, so that if I wanted to, if I wanted to go back, can I do both? That's another question.
Wait, so you were on SSDI and then they pushed you on to retirement at 62, or were you on SSI and they pushed you on to retirement at 62?
No, I was just on supplemental Social Security, and then when I reached 62, they put me on, retirement. But I still the same. I feel medically the same. So, do they retain my medical records and allow me and they retain my medical records and classify me as disabled as well?
Okay, so let me just clarify, because like some of the stuff you're saying isn't what it's normally called. So you were on supplemental security income and they transitioned you over to retirement at 62 because you're retirement available. How much is the retirement check you get per month?
Only $792.
$792. So I mean, realistically, you should be on a combination of SSI and retirement. So that'll boost you up to around $1,000 a month. So, I mean, you want to call the SSA tomorrow and say, hey, I want to file for SSI benefits to boost my retirement up to, that amount.
They are applying. I live with somebody and I don't pay. I pay rent, but I don't pay technically half the expenses. So so they applied to the third rule of the fifth. And so they said my income is too high to be on both. Okay? And go over.
So you have income,
now-
so you're currently working?
No, I'm not, because I'm disabled, and the being that I live with somebody, they count that as they apply the third rule.
So you're getting 1/3 reduction rule applied to you.
Yeah.
The in-kind support and maintenance. All right. Well, I mean, there's a way to fix that, and that's to pay your $350 of rent. You know what I mean? And then you'll get the rest of the check. So.
Yeah, it's like, it's like the only way. But well, let's just say, well, my question is is my disability still active with them, with the Social Security?
I don't honestly, man. I don't know, because with you, what you're saying is you were originally on SSI and you transferred to retirement, but your retirement is below $1,000, which means normally SSI is used to boost it, but in this case, you're having a 1/3 reduction rule, in-kind support and maintenance rule applied to you, where there might be a little bit of SSI on you. If there's a little bit of SSI on you still with the account, then yeah, they still have a disability standard applied to you. Are you certain that your $700 and something is only from retirement benefits, or is it possible that that's a combination of retirement and a little bit of SSI?
No, it's just only from
If it's just retirement, then it's not about disability benefits anymore. You're just on retirement. So you don't have an SGA limitation. You don't have a traditional SSI income limitation for resources, the $2,000 bank limit, stuff like that.
Yeah, I have everything else. Well, all the other qualifications for SSI, except for the getting pre-shelter, not pre-shelter, but getting, shelter, living in someone else's house. But, if I ask the SSI for the judge's ruling on my case, because I'm trying to get, proof that I'm disabled, because pretty soon, I can lose my Medicaid and my SNAP because if you're disabled, because if you reach a certain age.
So it's tough to hear. Your phone's kind of blurry, but
Oh, no, yeah, So what I mean is, I'm just trying to get a letter from the Social Security saying that that I'm disabled. Just wondering if they do that for me.
You're trying to get a letter from the SSA saying that you're disabled to give to who?
So that I could get the human resources, so that I can continue to get my SNAP.
Well,
Medicare.
I mean,
they require you to work.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Get the 20 hours a week, and in my neck of the woods, it's a very rural place. That would mean going into the fields and picking up stuff from the ground, and pretty hard work to have a backpack.
All right, so let me just get to what the fix would be, because we're kind of going late on the night. The fix would be, to pay a portion of rent so that you can have SSI benefits. And basically, so I need you to go research, number one, the in-kind support and maintenance rule, And number two, apply for SSI benefits. And number three, have a loan agreement with the person you pay or the person you live with that you would owe rent to. Loan agreement with that person.
Oh, okay.
All right. So that's what you're going to be shooting for. So loan agreement with that person. Yep, absolutely. SSI application, and learn about in-kind support and maintenance rule.
You have a good 4th of July, Attorney Walter.
Thank you, good sir. Excellent. Well, yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'll catch you later, and we'll rock and roll from there.
Yeah, you too.
Perfect. Thank you, good sir. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Yeah. Bye-bye. All righty, everybody. That's the final call for the night. We did a full hour. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of like beat up, exhausted. I will catch you all a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. Please remember, If I helped you out with an answer or helped you out with, some details, please consider going over to Google, typing in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida. And bottom line is throwing some stars up there, but it's totally up to you. I will catch you a little bit later. Please remember to be kind to each other. And I also do the 1-hour consultation. So if you want that, it is below inside the bio area. And bottom line is you can always go ahead and sign up for that. With that said, I will catch you later. Have a wonderful night. I'm starting to lose my voice, and we will go from there. Attorney Walter Hnot, thank you so much. Bye-bye.